So this is probably the most difficult thing for many boxers to actually learn how to do. Stepping in on punches 1, 2, 3, 4 is a really difficult thing to do. So when we've got boxers, we need them to be able to step in and step out, same distance, and we need them to be able to do that accurately so that they can get that even rhythm of punches. If they don't do this, it means that their hook is going to fall short. It's arguably the most technically difficult piece of coaching that you're really going to come across or need to do. But it is something you need to be able to do because you'll need to be able to coach your participants how to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this for a visual, an auditory and a kinesthetic learner. Remembering of course that the one that's going to be the most powerful form of feedback in this is kinesthetic feedback, because as you learned in your basic Boxercise instructor course, that when we are doing movement, that the best way to learn movement is through movement. That said, we can offer augmented concurrent feedback as well in order to facilitate this, and that's going to make the learning process that little bit quicker. As you learned before as well, it takes about 300, 500 repetitions to create a motor pattern, but 5,000 repetitions to correct a fault. So what we want to do is we want to get to the correct motor pattern as quickly as possible. Now we're lucky in the Boxercise footwork training system, we've got lines here, but I'm going to show you a method to do this if you don't have lines. And what you would do is you would use your focus pad as a dot. And what I would do is I'd put that in front of Nee's foot, 1 foot length exactly in front of her foot. So when she steps forward, she's going to reach that and then she's going to go back to the same line. This is great for a visual learner. Now, I would do this, we're using a screen here, but I would use this in front of a mirror. So the visual learner can see exactly where the foot must land, where it must go back to, and they can see what they're doing in the mirror. So this gives me a chance as well then to mirror image what she's doing and to go 1, 2, 3, then we do the number 4, then we go back like that. So that gives us closed loop motor feedback, as you'll have covered in the basic Boxercise instructor course. But what I've got to do now is I'm going to get her and I'm going to trigger her to move forward to land here. Now, in order to do that, the boxer's centre of mass is here, more or less around about the belly button. And in order to move that forward, what we have to do is we have to push off this back leg. If we don't push off that back leg, if all she does is step and step like that, the rhythm that we will hear, because a good coach should be using their ears as well, the rhythm we will hear will be this, then a gap, like that. And really the rhythm we need to hear is this. Then we know that she's doing it right. So we have to trigger that by pushing on this back foot. And this, when I trigger that by pushing on there, that's going to tell her where to initiate the movement from. That kinesthetic feedback, that touch, that feel, that pain is going to make her move forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to do 1, 2, and then before the 3, what you're going to do is push there. So push there. And then you're going to do 3, then 4, and then you're going to go back. Now I must push on the other foot to initiate the movement to go back, because the centre of mass is here, it needs to be pushed back. Now this is the kinesthetic feedback when I'm pushing on her feet, because this will trigger the movement. Ready? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, back. And I push on the foot accordingly. Now here's where we get clever with it and we use augmented feedback. Instead of, I'm going to use verbal feedback as well, but in order to do that, what I need to do is I need to ask her for her keyword as to what makes her think of moving forward. So when you're going forward, when I push on there, when you go forward, what do you think of?
Push.
Push, right. That's an obvious keyword, but some people will think other things. Myself, I know that when I move forward, I think snap. So I think of a different word. Always ask for the keyword, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, push, then 3, 4, and then what do you think of there?
Back.
Back. So they're really straightforward, they're obvious ones. Sometimes it won't be, and you may need to coach in a different language. So we're going to go 1, 2, and instead of saying 3, I'm going to say push, going to say back, okay? And this is going to trigger the correct movement. Ready? 1, 2, push, back. And again. 1, 2, push, back. Again. 1, 2, push, back. Now, again, visual feedback needs to be seen. You've got to see a dot. That's the purpose of the Boxercise footwork training system. We've got lines, which you guys can substitute at home for tiles on your kitchen floor. It's a great place to do your footwork. Audible feedback, verbal feedback needs to be heard, so don't be quiet. And kinesthetic feedback needs to be felt. So when I touch her on her foot, I don't just brush her foot like this. She needs to be able to feel that for the next 2 or 3 seconds. So I hit it at about that hard, as if I'm just giving it a little, not a gentle tap, but just a medium tap, not enough to bruise her foot. And then what we can do is translate that onto the focus pads. So now what we should have, I will now, because I can't get to her feet, I can do this. I can touch the foot by going push, back, push, back. 1, 2, push back. 1, 2, push back. Again. And I keep using her keywords now because they're going to be remembered from before. So she's got the pads to aim at. We can use the lines if we want, but she's going to be looking at the pads. So now her focus will be there. But I can still use verbal feedback to keep triggering that correct move. So once again, 1, 2, push back. 1, 2, push back. 1, 2, push back. Push back. Again. Lovely. There we go. The reason that I wanted to show this was because there is a difference in styles. And I just wanted to point out there is a difference. When Neve steps in, she doesn't bring both feet in. So what she'll do is she'll go 1, 2, 4, and that back foot stays there. This is a safer, more defensive method of doing this. When I do it, I'm a very aggressive fighter. I come forward. We were doing a drill the other day in the corner. Can you do just come forward a bit? And I'll show you. And I do this drill where I'm coming forward like that. There. And I have to come forward with both feet in order to execute that. As a power puncher, that's the kind of, but there's more risk with that. So just understand there's more risk, but more reward. Neve's method of doing it is a much more defensively astute method. And really for competitive boxers, that's probably a safer method. My method is gung-ho, like all guns firing, just get in and take them out. If I were coaching you as an amateur boxer, I would have you doing her way. That's how I would have you doing it. If you were short and powerful like me, you'd want to do it my way because it's more effective. If you're tall and lean, her method is definitely going to be safer for you.